Okay, so today we are jumping headfirst into a book that has a bit of a reputation, James Joyce's Ulysses. You've probably heard it's difficult, but really, at its core, it's a retelling of the ancient Greek epic, the Odyssey, except it all takes place in Dublin on one single day. But the real question is, what does it actually feel like to read it, to be inside the heads of these characters? Well, that's what we're going to explore. So let's start with a question for you. Just think for a second. How would you actually write down your own thoughts? Not the polished, edited version, but the real, unfiltered, messy stuff that's zipping through your brain moment to moment. How do you get that down on a page? Well, it might look a little something like this, right? You have a nice, simple observation, and then bam, your brain interrupts with, "Hurry up, damn it." Then a random cliche pops in, followed by another observation. It's a total jumble. See, our thoughts don't move in a straight line, and Joyce was absolutely obsessed with capturing that beautiful chaos. And that technique, that radical method, has a name: stream of consciousness. And folks, that is the master key to this entire novel. It's going to be our guide as we take a journey into one of the most famous single days in all of literature. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to see how this whole stream of consciousness thing really works by diving into the mind of a young artist named Stephen Dedalus. Then we'll switch over to our main character, Leopold Bloom, and see a totally different inner world. After that, we'll zoom out and see how the book's style just explodes to capture all the voices of Dublin. And finally, we'll ask the big question: how can a single day contain an entire universe? So first up is Stephen Dedalus. He's this brilliant, kind of gloomy young guy, a real intellectual. And Joyce doesn't ease us in. Nope, he drops us right into Stephen's head, which is this landscape of big artistic dreams, heavy philosophy, and a whole lot of guilt. And you see that guilt right away. Stephen's thoughts are just completely haunted by the recent death of his mother. And notice, it's not just him thinking, "I'm sad." His grief is a sensory experience. He remembers the specific, awful smells of her dying. That's how trauma really lives in the mind, in these sharp, vivid details. This tells you everything you need to know about Stephen's ego. The guy is incredibly proud of his own brain. For him, art isn't just about making something beautiful. No, it's a weapon. It's a lancet, like a surgeon's scalpel, a cold steel pin he can use to cut open and analyze the world around him. But here's the twist. For all his intellectual flexing, Stephen is also totally exhausted by it all. He's always wrestling with these massive ideas, history, God, sin, the whole shebang. And this line right here, it just shows you the crushing weight of all those big words on his mind. Okay, deep breath. We're leaving the stormy, intellectual world of Stephen, and we're shifting gears completely. Now we meet Leopold Bloom. If Stephen's mind is like a dark, dusty library of philosophy, Bloom's mind is like a bustling city street. It's full of sights and sounds, everyday worries, and this deep, quiet sense of curiosity. I mean, just look at the difference. While Stephen is off contemplating the nature of artistic creation, Bloom is, well, he's just eating a kidney for breakfast. But pay attention to the words: chewing with discernment, toothsome pliant meat. His world is so grounded, so physical. He's really in the moment. But Bloom's mind isn't just about simple pleasures. It's also a place of incredible sadness. Here, he sees a tiny coffin for a child's funeral, and his thoughts just instantly leap to his own baby son, Rudy, who died years before. It's this quiet gut punch of empathy where he sees his own tragedy in a total stranger's loss. And this slide just puts it all side by side perfectly. When Stephen thinks about his mother's death, where does his mind go? To the offense to me. It's all about his own personal, philosophical pain. But Bloom, when he thinks about death, he gets practical. A corpse is meat gone bad. And then, this amazing leap. Well, and what's cheese? Corpse of milk. He connects the biggest, scariest thing, death, to something as ordinary as cheese. So just when you think you've got a handle on these two guys, Joyce blows the whole thing wide open. About halfway through, the book's style just shatters. The narration explodes into this crazy mix of different voices and formats. It's like Joyce decided to stop writing about just two minds and instead tried to capture the consciousness of the entire city of Dublin. So first, we start getting snippets of actual conversations, the unfiltered chatter of the city. You start to hear the political arguments, the casual prejudices of the time. This is literally the sound of a Dublin pub, caught perfectly on the page. And then things get really weird. All of a sudden, the book's not a novel anymore, it's a play script. We're reading stage directions for this long, surreal, hallucinatory trip. Joyce does this to show us the subconscious let loose. It's like we've fallen into a bizarre dream, where everything revolves around our guy Bloom. Other times, the book just becomes this overwhelming flood of pure information. This isn't a character thinking anymore. It's like the book itself is just dumping its memory, throwing hundreds of historical and fictional names at you. It's meant to feel like the information overload we all experienced just 100 years ago. And you have got to love this. A really serious intellectual discussion about Shakespeare gets interrupted by a series of sensational, over-the-top newspaper headlines. Joyce is making a brilliant point here. Any event, any idea, can be seen in a million different ways, and each style completely changes what it means. Which of course brings us to the big question. Why? Why do all of this? Why shatter a perfectly good novel into a dozen different pieces? Well, it's because by breaking every single rule, Joyce thought he could show us something totally new about what it means to be human. It all comes back to this technique he mastered, the stream of consciousness. It's a way of writing designed to show us everything, not just the big important thoughts, but the silly distractions, the painful memories, the weird daydreams, all the stuff that tumbles around inside our heads, all day long. And through this incredible technique, Joyce makes a really profound point. History, he suggests, isn't just something that happens out there in textbooks. It's a nightmare that lives inside each of us. Every war, every invention, every big idea, it's all present in the mind of an ordinary person on an ordinary day. And that's really the dizzying idea that Ulysses leaves us with. By showing us the infinite, chaotic, beautiful universe inside just a couple of minds over 18 hours, it makes you ask a pretty staggering question about yourself. If one book can hold all of this, what incredible, untold worlds exist inside every single one of us?